Hi, welcome to Volleyball One-on-One. I'm super excited. Today I'm going to be introducing some new tape. Many of you may be aware of Kinesio tape. Okay, this is a completely new product called biomechanical tape by Dynamic Tapes. And I'm here with the owner, Ryan Kendrick. And you know, we absolutely love this stuff. They're a gold sponsor of ours. And what you can do is use this tape to improve form, reduce injury, and do some amazing things. So tell us a little bit about the tape.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Otto. Yeah, look, it's a very different tape to other things, as you say. We use this really mechanically, so it's like having a big spring on in a sense, or a bungee cord. It's really elastic in all directions, as we can see here. It doesn't really have an end point, so we get this real spring and we can stick it on and pull the body one way or another, or decelerate it this way or assist it that way to try and take load off injured structures, as you say, or to just try and improve the technique by stopping you collapsing one way or pulling you out and assisting you another way.
So how is this different than regular Kinesio tape?
Right, so with your Kinesio tape, I guess traditionally it's designed to have an elasticity and a thickness similar to the skin. So we generally put that on in a lengthened position with the muscle on stretch, say. So as you come back, it gathers up and lifts the skin and takes pressure off things and so on. This is almost the opposite. It goes on in a short position like a bungee cord. So as you lengthen, you get this load absorption, this deceleration, and this strong recoil back. And so the properties of the tape are very different. The material, the way it stretches much further, all directions. It doesn't have an end point like Kinesio, so it won't lock us up even though we're sticking it on in that short position.
Now, this allows you to do some really interesting things. So for injury prevention, first of all, how do you use this for injury prevention?
Right, so a lot of the injuries we see are overload or overuse injuries. So this is, you know, we're using this externally on the body to provide some of that deceleration force so the body doesn't have to handle it.
So it takes some of that pressure off of the slowdown, for example.
Right, so that slowdown, you know, your muscles are working what we say eccentrically, so they're lengthening and trying to control or decelerate that movement. If we can take some of that load externally, you know, the muscle doesn't have to do so much. You know, if I want to lift my arm, there's a certain amount of resistance from gravity. If some of that resistance comes from this, or the force comes from that strong recoil of the tape, then my muscle doesn't have to do so much.
Wow.
And similarly, as I lower down or lengthen, if the tape's resisting, providing some of that force, then my muscle doesn't have to control it quite so much.
Very, very powerful stuff. Now, the other use of this tape is also for changing form. And this is very, very interesting. We're going to shoot some videos around this. And as far as I know, this is the first time this has been shot or done around volleyball, where you can actually use tape to change people's movement patterns.
Right, exactly. You know, we actually use it a lot with people who've had strokes and things like that, where they might be weak and all those sorts of things, or kids who have cerebral palsy, and we can use it to pull their body one way or another. But in the elite sports field, we use it all the time for that sort of thing. You know, whether it's golf, whether it's tennis, we can, you know, change the way your arm's moving, change the way your trunk's moving. A whole range of things to improve your technique.
Now think about that as a coach. How many of you guys would want to try to teach your players to engage their core, for example, more when spiking, so there's less load on their shoulder? That's a great example. Like, so we're going to be shooting some videos on that. Trunk stability, like engaging your legs certain ways.
Absolutely, you know, getting that hip control in, stop people collapsing one way or another through the hips or dropping in through the knees, which is big on some of those overload injuries, you know, your patella tendons, some of your shin problems, all those sorts of things we can really bring in for that. But as you say, a lot around the trunk to both give a little bit of extra stability, if you like, but also to encourage the right timing and movement patterns, because timing is a big issue in volleyball, and if your timing's out, your position's out, and vice versa, and that leads to overload and then injuries.
Okay, we're also giving away one of these at Volleyball One-on-One, and if you're interested in seeing these videos on changing form and as well as injury prevention for volleyball, visit volleyball1on1.com.